things for you to sign when you're available.
Get started. You gotta get started on time. Miss Campbell,
It's already 4.
welcome. Hey. We're about to get
Yeah, you want one? No, Pam will give you. Thank you. I tried that.
People aren't sitting yet.
We're gonna get started in about 30 seconds. All right, full house. We got drinks and food on the back end, so please continue to give me all your questions as we'll entertain them all, but we will continue to be efficient throughout the meeting. So with that, I call to order the Counties of Warren and Washington Industrial Development Agency meeting on December 15th, 2025 at 4:01 p.m. May I get a roll call, please, Ally?
Brian Campbell,
Here.
Jenny Sullivan.
Here.
Kevin Mahoney.
Here.
Jim Nolan.
Here.
John Tafflin.
Here.
Tim Robinson. Dan Bruno.
Here.
Juan Gonzalez.
Here.
We have a quorum. We have 8 out of 10.
Great. All right, I'll turn it over to Chuck to introduce all our guests that are here.
Here we go. Connor McCoy, raise your hand. Okay, Bob Holmes. Andrew Magini. Lou Morocco. Derek Leo. Liz DeBramo. Paul Goulet. And then Bob Sears up here. Like everyone, oh, and Charlie Tall. Will be joining our board very shortly, as will Connor.
Pending the supervisor's votes. We always have to throw that in there. Great. And do we have anybody online?
We do not.
We don't have anybody online. All right, let's get started. And your board packet was the on page 3 to 6 was a November 17th IDA board meeting minutes. I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes. Jim, second. Brian, any comments, questions, or concerns? Dan will abstain. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. All right, we turn it over to treasurer for accounts payable.
Sorry, I'm trying to about payable, 87,795.45. We do need to add to that for some checks that are going out, and so we're looking for approval of additional 53,382.79. I'll break that down for you. The Cheryl Morris, $28.15, WCC, their share of the rail, the Q1 is $35,842.61, and their share of the Q2 rail was $11,666.8. And payment to RU Homes for engineering services, $29.35, and the village of Fort Edward, our water bill, split the WCC on canal side of $125. So that's an additional $53,383.79. So total November payables are $141,089.2.
All right, with no questions, I will entertain a motion to accept the accounts payables with the adjustments mentioned by the treasurer. Jenny, second. John, any questions, comments? Can I get a roll call, please, Alice?
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Jenny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney.
Yes.
Jim Nolan.
Yes.
John Tafflin.
Yes.
Tim Robinson. Dan Bruno.
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Great, moving on to the year-to-date financial report, starting on page 7, treasurer, please.
Sure. Jump to page 9 was balance sheet of the WWIDA. Balance sheet reflects a very strong position. We have $2.6 million in various cash holdings, money market, checking, and the pilot. That totals $2.6 million. Liabilities are very minimal. Nothing really has popped up with needs with explanation. Sound net worth balance sheet. And on the income statement, on page 11, I go through the year to date, the 1 month look. Anybody has questions on 1 month? Year to date, You can see that we've taken in $856,000 revenue. That has led to profit of 570,000. Majority of that's coming through in from outside lease income. I would say majority, 300,000, 329,000 in project fees, and then we have rail and usage fees, 212 less WCC share, which is 45 years to date. So it's 167. So those three, along with a little bit of miscellaneous income and earnings, the interest income make up the $806,000 revenue. Some of them are reimbursable, I'll mention that. And we are close to an accruals-based accounting system for start of 12 or 1/1/26. Right now we've got mix, which doesn't really lead well. Anyway, any questions?
Great. Sorry, Henry. My bad.
Okay. As long as it wasn't about me.
No, you. Any questions for our treasurer?
Different with the rules, cash basis. Will be not very big, right?
There'll be some adjustments, like,
Yeah,
Yes.
right now, it's not so bad because we're just doing engineering expenses, but we'll get into construction, we'll have some bigger bills. So that's the reason we're going for cash to accrual purposes.
and something else to be corrected.
Charlie, that's the first time I've heard anyone ask questions about financial report. Well,
That is the first time, right? One of them, except for Mr. Kaiman, and say, what page is that on?
We can have a little fun at his expense. Right? And if he was here, we'd still have fun at his expense. All righty. Any further questions for our treasurers on the year-to-date financial report? With that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the year-to-date financial reports. Jenny, second. Brian. Roll call, please, Ally.
Brian Campbell.
Yeah.
Ginny Sullivan. Kevin Mahoney. Jim Nolan.
yes.
John Tafflin. Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Dan Bruno.
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yeah,
Motion passes.
great.
And I just like that. That was because Tim explains it so well.
No, absolutely.
You sure it doesn't have anything to do with the strength of balance?
Yeah, no, yeah, a little bit with the strength of balance sheet. That's where I read it. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, let's go on to the report of committees. Park Chair, please.
Sure thing. Regarding canal side, a couple of things. Kiewit is probably 85% off site. I was there twice last week. Not much left there, no big reels. A lot of their shoring pipe, et cetera, is gone, so I expect by the end of this month, that's probably pretty much 100% out there. Of course, there's still obligated for the lease for it. But anyway, regarding the water and sewer improvements to the park, we are revising the funding. The sewer at this point has decreased in cost quite a bit because the scope has been decreased, and Mr. Barney can expand on this because so the sewer, the wastewater has decreased. The potable water, the water has probably increased slightly, but anyway, so we're going to revise the funding allocation, if you will, but we'll get into that. Labella is continuing their efforts with respect to wastewater and water, and Mr. Holmes can speak to the South Access Road improvements where we stand with them. We talked yesterday and I mentioned to Mr. Barton, Mr. Gonzalez, that, we're of the opinion that we should bid that as a lump sum rather than an itemized bid because it's not that complex of a project. There's little or no risk of any, necessary changes to the scope and quantities and that sort of thing. But you care to say anything?
I believe you summed that up quite well.
And we should be going out to bid for that January.
That's kind of the target that looking at, I know we'll be revising those dates, I think it's time goes, but Mr. Barton's eager to keep it moving. Yeah, and I'll just add that, we'll go to bid out to bid in January with intention to award the bid to February board meeting. So the third Monday in February. Hopefully, as Mr. Holmes says, I'm kind of anxious because we got to make sure the detour is done before the bridge replacement starts.
Our next meeting with Lavella, we meet periodically in 2 weeks, is this Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And we'll continue to review the water, wastewater, etc. And we have a meeting, a Zoom meeting scheduled, Mr. Barton, myself, etc. For December 18th at 9 a.m. Zoom meeting to discuss the proposed wastewater connection to Washington County Sewer District, prior to talking to the prospective buyer of the site. And that's about all I have for canal side, the airport industrial park. I haven't been around for a while, so I don't have much on that. Again, Mr. Bark will get into that a little later. So, other than that, I think we're in good shape, respect to canal side and the funding, etc. So that concludes my report. Subject to any questions.
Anybody have anything for the park chair? All right, we'll turn it over to the CEO for the rest of canal side and airport industrial park.
Okay, and I'll try not to be redundant. We'll start with the canal side and the water capacity expansion. We have a draft map plan report that will be presented for our board approval at the next board meeting. We have secret review first, and I'll talk about that momentarily. Also with Lavella, they're engaging the railroad authorities regarding the East Street Railroad crossing. Engineering designs at 60% completion. It was submitted to the Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railway for review, and minor comments were received back this past Friday. And Liz, the comments, nothing of great concern, right? Okay. Liz is handling the correspondence with the railroad company. Moving on to the new sewer connection. As Mr. Bruno pointed out, we have a potential site buyer that needs only sanitary connection for employees and does not generate commercial waste. This scenario reduces the scope and cost of the sewer connection. For example, a business with 100 employees requires only 1,500 gallons per day. Since we are encountering a lesser capacity scenario, we are exploring similar option for a lower capacity connection via East Street. Dan Bruno, as Mr. Bruno just explained, we're going to be having a meeting with Washington County Sewer District Chairman, Executive Director, and Consulting Engineer on Thursday to make sure this hookup can be done, and if so, we'll go back to the prospective buyer.
It's a week of this.
This Thursday. This Thursday. Yeah, today's the 15th. It's coming quick. And then finally, with the connection to East Street, everything's okay with the sewer district. We will need to get some permitting from the DEC, and we'll also need to get an easement from WCC to run the pipeline from canal side to East Street. And that's just on the sewer connection. Mr. Bruno talked about the funding. Mr. Gonzalez and I had a meeting with Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board this past Friday to review the grant funding strategy and have a recommended change for board concurrence. The HUD grant is for $950,000, of which roughly $550,000 has been spent. However, since the water project has matured, the current scope is close to the original scope when we had the HUD approval, and the wastewater scope has been significantly reduced, triggering additional administration, including major modification of NEPA, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, and could take up to 6 months. We are recommending that all remaining HUD funds be allocated to the water project, and that will utilize Fast New York funds for the sewer project. There will be some issues with reimbursements, with nothing that we're not expecting. We know that with Fast New York, we spend it, it takes a little bit more time being reimbursed, but we feel as if right now the important thing is not to try to do HUD with sewer and delay everything for 6 months because of the change with the scope of sewer. We keep it with water, we simplify it, and we keep things moving along. So with that, I don't know, Mr. Gonzalez, if you have anything to add to that?
On a financial end, that it brings back up our line of credit request that we'll eventually bring to the board. We do have a question into Fast New York, exactly what is the smallest amount of reimbursement that they're gonna allow? Could be as small as or as large as 2 million, could be 3 million or 4 million. Once we have that data, we'll work with our cash flow and determine whether or not a line of credit will be required. So more to follow on that. It just happened, and we'll continue to keep the board updated.
And I'll just add that the cost estimates we're getting for Labella for all the work are still within our funding capacity. So we're not dealing with any situation needing more funds than we currently have. So we're okay as far as the budgeting of both projects.
Great.
So any concerns about us? I don't think we need the board motion or resolution on this. We just wanted to run it by the board and make sure there was no concerns.
Good, all right.
Okay, moving on, to the East Street back entrance and exit detour for the 2026 main bridge replacement. Mr. Holmes and Mr. Bruno provided the update from the engineering perspective. As far as Labella is involved with addressing permitting issues. There's 4 updates of DEC general permit. It's under Labella internal review, and they'll be shared with the IDA probably this week. There's a necessity of a SHPO application, and it was submitted on December 11th. There's also an updated wetlands delineation, and it was approved by the DEC on December 11th. And then there is a non-jurisdictional letter to DEC for endangered species. It was sent on December 5th, and we're waiting response from DEC. And Beth and Paul, Liz and Paul, do you have anything to add on to what I just talked about with Labella, with the permitting?
We are submitting the general instead of the Article 24, which is simpler. So we're hoping that expedites the process so that we move forward. So we could add it. But that's okay.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts, but things are going along pretty well. Thank you. Remember, we also need a permit application in Canal Corp, and that is being drafted, and we do expect to get that into Canal Corp soon. We've been working with them offline, so they're completely aware of everything that's happening. That will hopefully facilitate a quick review process. As far as the latest high-level timeline that we put together, we hope through all detailed engineering by the end of December. We hope to be through New York State permitting for seeker, DEC, endangered species, and SHPO by the end of March. We hope to have the construction bid and award by the end of March, and we're hoping to have Canal Corp final permitting by the end of April. Construction will then be May and June, completed by the end of June, so the bridge replacement project can happen in July. And that's it on that project, unless Mr. Holmes and Mr. Bruno have anything to add. Okay, thank you.
Can we get a running tally of the costs for the detour project, as that is gonna be an IDA cost? I know there's currently, I saw legal, possibly, and then engineering as well as permitting. And I just wanted, if we can add it as an attachment, that way this board stays appraised of the cost as you go forward. That's not part of any grant program, so we want to keep the board fully appraised of that running cost.
Okay, Alan, I'll put together the report. Great, very easy.
Thank
you. Okay, now the next topic is a seeker modification public notification for board approval. So let me explain this a little bit. These are pages 13 through 41 in your board package. Labella has prepared the seeker environmental impact review report and the environmental assessment form part 1, necessary for 4 projects associated with canal side. First is the water map plan report, The second is the water district formation. Third is the sewer map plan report. And the fourth is the East Street Entrance Road widening project. In your package, page 37 actually had a map illustrating all three of these projects. I say three because the map plan report and water district are kind of one and the same. This package that you have for us today is for your approval for us to publicly notify the affected organizations and to receive their feedback within 30 days. And then after the 30-day public notice period, including the input from the affected agencies, the IDA board will complete the public seeker part 2 and 3 review at the IDA's January 20th board meeting. Labella will prepare documents for us to go through those questions. We do believe, given the simple nature of all these projects, that we are cautiously optimistic that a negative declaration will occur after we go through those questions from part 2 and part 3 of the seekers. If this is the case, we will then seek IDA board approval of the water map plan report on January 20th and advance it to the town of Fort Edward for legal formation of the out of village water district. And with that, Kara, did I explain everything properly?
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions from anybody before we look for a board resolution?
So just from a legal perspective, so for today, we don't have to go through every line of the application, correct?
Right, so the application's already been completed and so once we put it out for comment, we'll take any of those comments, then whatever board comments, and then we'll go over that once all the comment period has expired.
So in January's board meeting, once we get to parts 2 and 3, that will be a very long process. I just want to make sure everybody.
That's what we'll go over.
Well, for those that were here a few years ago, we've been through this before, and that is why that meeting took a while, is that by law, we have to go through each step of that application.
Yeah, there are actually 18 questions we need to go through. So we send out the board package, we'll point out those questions and any preparation beforehand will help streamline the meeting. And Labella, again, will be in the room helping us through some of these questions if there are any technical questions.
Most of those questions are pretty vague.
Yeah.
That is the former chairman of the planning board. And an engineer. Yes. Yeah.
All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the seeker modification, public notification application. Jim, second. Brian, can I get a roll call, please, Ellen?
Yes. Brian Campbell.
Yes.
Jeannie Sullivan. Kevin Mahoney. Jim Nolan.
Yes.
John Tafflin.
Yes.
Tim Robinson.
Yes.
Dan Bruno.
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes,
Motion passes.
great, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Continue along. The last item with projects with Calside is the new natural gas supply. A prospective buyer has expressed the need for natural gas. The prospective buyer has completed the National Grid natural gas connection form and has been advanced to National Grid for their initial feedback. So as part of their due diligence from the prospective buyer, this is very important. And we're hoping National Grid will get back to a reply very, very soon. Ending the projects and just talking about canal side maintenance, the only thing to point out is that SMS Rail and Our Electric have established new snow removal procedures with the Kiewit vacating the site. Kiewit has been doing a lot of snow removal, but them leaving. Now Our Electric and SMS Rail will pick up the responsibility. Skipping over a few things. Actually, that's it. I just want to acknowledge that we have Berkshire Hathaway Blake Realty representatives in the room, and they're working with this prospective buyer to really talk publicly about what's happening because it's still due diligence. But once we get a letter of intent and we get the signed application for purchasing the land, we will then go public with this prospective buyer. So with that, any other questions about the outside before we go to the airport industrial park? Okay, thank you. Okay, airport industrial park. We have the Ferguson Lane extension and the new wetland rules As already explained, Steve George has submitted a jurisdiction determination to DC regarding the Ferguson Lane Extension wetlands and roadway access to the developable area. We are waiting for a response from the DEC. We also, Berkshire Hathaway has a prospective buyer interested in the property I just described. And that person is obviously waiting for the DEC response before they advance any interest on buying the 26 acres at the end of Ferguson Lane. We have, as you know, Glen Falls Rotary interested in a 20-acre site at Airport Industrial Park 2 is heavily impacted by wetlands for a potential tree farm. Rotary leaders attended the Kingsbury Town Board meeting on October 21st and received favorable feedback. Rotary and the IDA are engaging neighbors for informal feedback on this project concept, and there's more to come. And finally, last topic with our guest, Derek Leo. Derek is from Services Unlimited, a general construction services company. He, if I point out to the map that I handed out, if you look to the right, I see a 22 Park Road. It was owned by KRS Holdings Inc. or Holdings LLC. It is now owned by 22 Park Road LLC, owned by Mr. Leo. And he has expressed interest in buying a 14-acre site. It's a little hard to read here because of the imaging of the vegetation, but you'll see sort of in the middle, lower middle, Park Road, Washington, Warren, Washington, IDA, 14.46 acres. Those acres are heavily impacted by wetlands. However, the property immediately in back, 22 Park Road, is not wetland impacted. And I'll let Mr. Leo get up and talk about his application and reason for wanting to buy land and answer any questions. So with that.
Really, our intent is to, just because I only own, according to the survey, about 3 feet on one corner, 5 feet on the corner of the existing building at 22 Park, I'd like to go a little bit further. You know, really, that's the only part of the property that would be any use to us based on the wetland litigations there. So really, that's kind of what we're using it for now is parking, and it's kind of what we'll use it for going forward. There's not enough room or enough land to do any building of any sort there. Gaining access to the rear of our building is really what we're looking to do.
And I'll add that given the very simple nature of what will be done with the property, we do not need a site plan. They do not need to go to the planning board. Really just need the approval of the purchase of the land. As far as the purchase, the lot was appraised in November 2024 by New York State Certified General Appraiser Ed Gallagher. With the site so heavily impacted by wetlands, the valuation was only $2,600. The report stated the subject parcel may be best suited for passive use, meaning there really is no active use. And as Mr. Leo just pointed out, there's no intent to build a building because it will never be permitted. And I think that's it, unless there are any questions.
The value of the appraisal was the 2,600.
That's correct. Yeah.
There's a resolution.
Yeah, there's a resolution too. So I guess with that.
Great. With that, then I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution of the counties of Warren and Washington Industrial Development Agency approving and authorizing sale of property. Tim, second. Dan. Your roll call, please, Alex.
Yes, Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Jenny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney,
Yes.
Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Taflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yes. Ryan, please.
So,
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for reporting out on the industrial parks, unless there are any questions. Further questions?
Yeah, I think we're have an opportunity to close out the airport industrial park. Decades in the making for many that have been here a while. So this is exciting times. Gives our gives our board a chance to go work on quite a few other projects that we have upcoming for the board. All right. Ongoing business. Is there any ongoing business? All right, let's move to new business. Ally, we'll start with Ally, additional funds for the water escrow account.
Yes, so previously the board had approved 7,500 to go to the village of Fort Edward to put in an escrow for any engineering or legal fees that they might incur with our endeavor. They have since depleted that funds and the balance is actually negative 1,400 right now. So we're just looking for board approval to add another 7,500 to that escrow account.
Okay. You guys are quick today. All right, let me get the official stuff. I know. We got 29 minutes. We got 29 minutes. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the additional $7,500 funds into the water escrow account. Brian, second. Jim. Roll call, please, Ally.
Okay, Brian Campbell, Ginny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney, Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Taflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to the contract renewal, Chuck.
Okay, you might recall we did an RFP for real estate services a year ago. We needed a 3-year RFP. However, the contract we signed with Berkshire Hathaway Blake Building was only for 1 year. So this is now a contract to renew for another year. We've obviously been very pleased with Berkshire Hathaway and they're very proactive marketing to both Ferguson Lane Extension and of course Canal Side Energy Park. So with that, just looking for a motion to renew their contract for another year.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to renew their contract for another year. Dan, second. Kevin? Got a roll call out, please, Ally?
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney, Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Taflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Gentlemen, you guys. No, we.
There's group of guys, some of the guys playing with. He said, well, you put your hand off this.
Please.
Piece.
And if you can move it.
And then, oh, okay. And then, well, I'm sorry about that, but guys, no, yeah. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take your side. You take my side. So I was ahead on my side, at least I thought it was. So we switched sides. So I ended up beating. I got my hand on the fault. I haven't played chess since.
We
I
were
was
wrong,
gonna-
technically.
Right.
Should never agreed to the switching sides. All right, moving on to everything underfoot, sales tax exempt and extension, Tara, please.
Okay, so the next, their extension is for their sales tax exemption is going to expire at the end of this year, November 31st. So they are not quite done and they're looking for an extension through February 28th, 2026.
All right, then. All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion accepting the resolution, taking action, extending the project completion date and authorization for sales tax exemption to everything underfoot LLC as agent of the agency for the purpose of compressing and stripping the project facility. Brian, second. John. Roll call, please, Alex.
Yes.
Yes, Dan.
This is the point. You bring it to the floor, then you ask, are there any questions?
Okay.
So there's discussion. Then you move on. I don't mean to slow it, but
No.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is this their first extension?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was, thank you.
Brian Campbell,
Yeah.
Ginny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney, Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Taflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to North Creek, New York, Resort Holding CO sales tax exemption extension. Kara,
So they also, their exemption will expire the end of this year. So they are looking for an extension through the end of March.
Any questions?
All the numbers are the same.
Numbers are all the same, yeah.
All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to accept the resolution taking action extending the project completion date and authorization for sales tax exemption to North Creek, New York Resort Holding Co. LLC as agent of the agency for the purpose of constructing and equipping the project facility. Brian first, second. Jim. Roll call, please, Alex.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney,
Yes.
Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Tofflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, one more. Native Development Sales Tax Exemption Extension. Kara.
They are looking for, theirs also expires the end of this year, and they're looking for an extension through the June 30th, 2026. Numbers remain the same.
Any questions? All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to accept in the resolution taking action extending the project completion date and authorization for sales tax exemption to Native Development Associates LLC as agent of the agency for the purpose of constructing and equipping the project facility. John, second. Brian. Roll call, Alex.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney, Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Tofflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, insurance renewals, update and approval. Alex.
Yes, so Chuck and I met with Mr. Jason Pirozzoli. Pirozzolo, thank you, from Glens Falls Associates Insurance in regards to the renewal of our insurance at Canal Side. And the proposal that he prepared for us is in the meeting packets. If you look on page 12, you'll see the summary where, or 68.
Yeah.
Oh, right, 12 of the proposal, 68 of the meeting packet. And it's about $1,700 increase from 25 to 26. And Jason said it was predominantly due to the increase in value of the buildings on the property. And we will need an approval to approve this proposal for this insurance policy for next year.
The replacement value, the replacement cost.
Construction cost of.
To replace
Yeah.
the building. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it went from 9,700 to 11,300, it's a 16% increase. But everything else is cut relatively flat. Overall, as Ally points out, about $1,700, 8% increase.
Did you get a spectrum of deductibles and whether how much that might affect the premium and what the appetite would be for 25,000, 50,000 deductible instead of your standard?
We did last year and we got a very array and we're sort of sticking with what we did last year. There is a good chance that we'll be ending this policy if we sell Canal Side in 2026. So we decided not to bid it out. We had talked about maybe bidding out. It's been a couple of years, but since we're probably divesting the property, we decided not to bid this out. Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. Any other questions? All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to accept Associates of Glens Falls insurance renewal proposal. Jim, second. Ginny. One more roll call.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney,
Yes.
Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Tofflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Any new business before this board? All right, with that, we'll just start with staff reports, start with CEO. Chuck.
Okay, so let me do a quick rundown of what's happened since November 18th to today, December 15th. On the 18th, attended the ARC State of Warren County with County Administrator Mr. Teflon and with Tricia Rogers moderating. Also on the 18th, attended the Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board EPA Brownfield Coalition kickoff. It's an effort with Hamilton, Essex, Clinton, Warren, and Washington counties doing a survey on brownfield opportunities within those 5 counties. Then on the 24th, Chairman Gonzalez and I met at Warren County EDC with what's being called the Mosaic Gathering with local art organizations. It included BN Communications, Hyde, Glens Falls Symphony, Chapman, World Children's Museum, Park Theater, Sembrick, and several other arts organizations looking for a little collaboration. And as you know, as we think about next year, we're thinking about perhaps an economic impact and opportunity analysis. So we're doing our homework with these organizations to come back to the board in 2026 to see if there's opportunity for us to help in this area. Then on November 24th, I attended the Glens Falls East End Rising kickoff meeting with Bella. We were a guest on the panel, and also on the panel was Lehigh Heidelberg representing that industrial property that is obviously brownfield. More to come on that kickoff with Glens Falls. This will be at least a 1-2 year project. Then on December 1st, I met with the new SUNY Adirondack president, Anastasia Ertz, and we just had a nice talk about our community and the economic opportunities within the community. Then also on that day, I attended the Queensbury Town Board meeting supporting the West Mountain project, which was approved for a zoning change at that same meeting. Then on December 3rd, Chairman Gonzalez and I met with Heather Backshaw, Warren County Tourism Director, to discuss this arts and tourism economic impact and opportunity analysis, and she had some good feedback. Then on the 4th of December is the ARC holiday party at the Carriage House, very well attended. And then on the 12th, Allie and I met with our insurance agent. And then also on the 8th, I went to Fort Edward Town Board meeting to talk about the Canal Side Water District formation and present to the board and field a few questions from both the board and some citizens that were in the meeting. Then on the 11th of December, we had another Mosaic meeting with the same group I talked about before, it's the Hyde Museum. And we are looking to meet with this group, or this group will be meeting on a monthly basis. And we do plan to attend to continue to understand the opportunity with the arts and tourism sector for both counties, by the way. Then on the 11th of December, we had an insurance property inspector, Canal Side, and toured the gentleman around. And then on the 11th, we also had the EDC holiday party in Glens Falls. And that's it as far as activities. As far as me talking about my engagements, I'm just going to say I'll hit real quick. We have 50 to date. We have 17 within manufacturing and distribution, 5 in tourism and recreation, 2 in hotel and resort, 3 in food and beverage, 5 in mixed use, 8 in housing, 2 in energy, 1 in medical, and 7 in other. As far as the pipeline list I typically talk about, we currently have 17 projects. We have 4 in mixed use, we have 4 in housing, 4 in hotel and resort, 3 in manufacturing distribution, and 1 in food and beverage. Of those 17, 3 are actually working on the applications. 5 are considering whether or not to submit the application. 9 are simply exploring because they're still crystallizing their project. And we've had at least 10 potential applicants decide not to move forward with their projects for one reason or another. I'll take a breath there before I talk about 2025 accomplishments. Any questions? Is it okay, Bob? In your board package, we have a draft of our accomplishments in 2020. This draft, because the year has not ended, we had to wait for this meeting to confirm a few opportunities we're working on. I'm not going to go through the entire list. I'll just hit some highlights. I think in the leadership and development area, a highlight this year was the SUNY Adirondack Artificial Intelligence Agility course that the 3 of us took. Allie and Juan and I, and we found that very enlightening. And almost every day we talk about what we use AI for, so that's been very good for us. As far as our incentive projects, we approved 8 this year. I'll talk a little bit more about the remarks at the holiday party, but it's $68 million in investments, and it created 64 new jobs and saved an additional 70 jobs when it came to FW Web and Nipsey, who were considering relocating out of the area. As far as all the projects and alleys administered during the year, 35 projects that have been approved over the past 10 years, valued at $210 million, and generating 460 jobs. It's a little different than the numbers on your page, and that's just an update against what was sent out with the draft form. On page 2, there's updates about Canal Side Airport Industrial Park. I'm not going to go through it because we just went through it with my update. And then you go on page 3, as far as community relations, we have hired a second social media intern who's doing very well, working from college down in Florida, and back, going back home to Brazil in between the fall and spring semester, and we'll be coming back to the U.S. in the spring. Will continue working with us. We're up to 234 followers now, folks, so we are making good strides with our social media engagement. There's been attendance to over 30 community functions, and we've completed over 50 community engagements. And finally, on administration, the only thing, there's a lot of important things here, but I just wanted to focus on hiring ADK Techs, an IT managed service provider from Argyle, that's helped us upgrade our systems and our cybersecurity protection. So with that, any questions about this 3-page report on our 2025 accomplishments and operations?
All right, busy year.
Okay,
We're
thank
just
you.
getting started. Next year's gonna be busier. All right, with that, we'll turn it over to our administrator, Hallie.
Yes, so the 25-26 school pilot taxes have all been paid at this point. We were when one was holding out Greenwich Preservation, they did pay this month, and so we are all set with that. And the town and county taxes for 2026, I will be working on at the end of this month to be mailed out in the beginning of January.
Anybody have anything for Hallie? Any public comments? Do we have anybody online?
We do not.
No. There'll be no executive session needed today. We still have a CDC meeting quickly, so don't get up, please. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting. Kevin, second. Jim, all in favor? Aye. Motion, all right, meeting adjourned. All right, I call to order the counties of Warren and Washington Civil Development Corporation meeting on December 15th, 2025 at 4:48 p.m. And get a roll call, please, Al.
Brian Campbell. Ginny Sullivan.
Here.
Kevin Mahoney.
Here.
Jim Nolan.
Here.
John Taflin.
Here.
Tim Robinson.
Here.
Dan Bruno.
Here.
Juan Gonzalez.
Here.
We have a quorum. We have 8 out of 10.
Great. Same individuals, no new individuals joined us in person, and no anybody online?
Correct.
Correct. All right, with that, on your meeting board packet on page 2 is the meeting minutes of October 20th board meeting. Any questions or concerns? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the October 20th board meeting. Ginny, second. Kevin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstained? All right, motion carries. We'll turn it over to the treasurer for the financial reports.
You have in front of you the balance sheet, which is very minimal, and that's by design. We keep enough money in a checking and a CD, to offset our, accounting costs. The income from the CD helps it offset the share allocated to the DTC. You can see we have interest income and accounting fees, our expense. Interest income did not offset the accounting fees by about $1,302. So year to date, that's what the net loss comes. Happy to entertain. Do you want me to go on to the CD?
1 second, let's get that motion. So any questions on the financial reports? With that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the CDC financial reports. Brian, second. Jim. Get a roll call, please, Alex.
Yes, Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan, Kevin Mahoney, Jim Nolan,
Yes.
John Tafflin,
Yes.
Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yeah,
Motion passes.
great. Move on to CD.
Sure, we have a $52,000 CD and change that matured December 10th. We called to find the new interest rate at Arrow and it's 0.15. I don't think is right. I'm gonna have to call the branch tomorrow and get some more information because it was earning 3.95 on a I think it was 6 month. Did we say 6 months?
Yes.
6 month CD, and now it's 0.15. Now, if that's the case, then we need to go out to bid. Because that's not what other local banks are paying. As an example, NBT Bank is presently paying 3.5 on a 4 month CD with a yield of 3.56. Our money market rate is 3.5 for new money coming into the bank, which that would be, but likely to go down to 3.25 with Fed rate change recently. So, and it is a variable rate, so the 3.5 seems like the most logical. But let's give Arrow the benefit of the doubt. I talked to a home person, customer service, and they asked me to call it correct, find out why we weren't in a better product. I'm not sure, but I think this is the default rate for that 6 month CD now they have. They probably have a special or something like that we'll have to explore. So I guess what we're asking for right now today is the flexibility from the board to enter into a certificate of deposit not to exceed 1 year in the neighborhood of 3 to 3.5%. With any financial institution locally that we can. Yeah, maybe you want to do that, or you want me to bring it back?
No, discussion. Any thoughts on more?
They're gonna take, look around, that is incorrect, and get the best rate you can get.
Correct. Do we need board approval
Or just to lock in, to
Yeah.
renew the CD?
to renew it? You only have 10 days from the 10th.
My last question to Kara is how do we word this?
Yeah, I would just authorize, the chair to confirm the CD wants to determine. So you can give you the discretion.
Okay. What if we have to move it to the board? Move it to a different institution?
No, I think,
No.
no, if we word it the way she authorized the chair to approve the findings of the treasurer and the administrator on a best rate for a 6 month CD, correct?
6 months.
6 months.
Or not to exceed, a 1 year, he said.
Or to exceed 1. Good flexibility on time frame and. Anybody have any other discussion?
I guess I would just say that I agree the rate doesn't sound accurate, and as long as there's flexibility, if we're not entertaining a particular bank in the motion. I'd be okay with voting on that resolution. A little awkward that I'm sitting here in front of the arrow, but we're not identifying
It's been,
an
yeah,
institution, resolution, you would agree with that. Yep.
I would agree.
Sounds like it's phone error. But yeah, they probably get
Customer service
off
counts.
on their website, it's 3.5 right now for 6 months.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't like you gotta check me out, right?
Yeah.
But you know, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
for checking.
Great.
CD, checking account.
Yeah. So the CD.
Right.
Yeah, now the cash is in.
We do have 2 accounts, and I did specifically ask that, but the answer was, I knew that didn't sound good. 3.5 is standard.
So we're saying if we go back at 3.5, that we're gonna move forward, keeping it.
Yep.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong here, please. So any further discussion before I attempt to read this resolution? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the chair to approve the CD account based off of the findings of the treasurer and administrator with a not to exceed 1 year CD limit, CD term. Brian, second. Jim. Roll call, please, Ally.
Brian Campbell.
Yes.
Jenny Sullivan.
Yes.
Kevin Mahoney.
Yes.
Jim Nolan.
Yes.
John Tafflin.
Yes.
Tim Robinson.
Yes.
Dan Bruno.
Yes.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Any business, CDC board, any new business? Any ongoing business? Any public comments? With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the CDC. Brian, second. Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Oh, so, before the karaoke at the holiday party, there will be remarks, so just get